Okay guys, so I just have to keep reminding myself that this is gonna hurt me way more than it's gonna hurt my herb plants. But I just gotta do it. But I don't want to. I really, really, really don't want to. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shamira Benson, one part of Team Benson, and if you guys have been following along, you know that my garden got a bit destroyed by the painters. Now, long story short, I got my building painted. As you can see now, my house is white versus it being orange of what it was before. And we had different painters this year. We do get our house painted about like every 5 years per the HOA. And for the last 13 years that I've been here, it's always been like the painters would come in, they would cover everything up, they would put everything where they wanted it to be, and or approve where we put everything they wanted it to be, and then they would cover everything up and then they would paint the building. Never had any issues. Well, this time, not only was I locked out of my garden for 3 whole days, which I was not happy about. Literally, like, my door was covered shut and my gate was covered shut, and there was a whole bunch of equipment back here that they deemed unsafe for me to come back and water, so that was an issue. But they also just kind of moved everything around after approving where things were supposed to be, and they didn't take care of where they moved things. So they came in and we had moved everything. So I know some of you guys had said, why didn't you move stuff? We did move some stuff. It was approved by the painters of where they wanted it to be, but then they came back in and I guess they decided it wasn't working for them, and they moved stuff and then just threw stuff on top of things. So some of the things got messed up. They also didn't cover anything, which they said that they would. Otherwise, I would have covered my vegetables, and so some of my things got some paint spray. So all in all, we can't cry over spilt milk. We just have to move on. But something happened to my herbs and I'm really sad about it. Let me show you guys. So if you guys don't know here, our herb bed is insanely important to us because we don't use bottled seasoning. So all of my seasoning for my cooking comes from my herb bed and things that I grow, and salt and pepper that I order because I don't grow salt and or pepper. But everything else comes from my herbs. And not being able to have those herbs is a huge deal for my household. It's a problem because we are running out of the dried herbs that we saved from last year. Also, if you guys don't know, I am a city gardener, so you will hear motorcycles every now and then. But the problem is, anyways, is that I don't want to eat paint, and I don't think that I should feed my family paint. So even though the HOA has assured me that it's non-toxic, I still don't think that we should eat it. So I am going to have to do what I did to this one, and that is cut it all the way back. So the problem is that we need those herbs to get us through the winter. And yes, those herbs are going to grow back, and they're going to grow back probably like amazing and bushy and great because we're going to give them a really big chop. But the problem is that we're running out of dried herbs, and I refuse to buy any herbs from the store. So this is what we did. So I'm 100% not feeding my family paint, whether it is toxic or not toxic, but I also went to Home Depot because I thought, okay, well, if I have to cut back my herbs, I can just go and buy some herb starts. That way they are going to be bushy enough for us to use, because some of my herbs that I started from seed, when I put in the herbs that I had purchased, they're not big enough for what we use, like the amount that we use. So and I do have some dried parsley, so that makes me happy. And my rosemary is somewhat sprayed, but it's bushy enough to be able to use some of it, but still not a lot of it. So I went to Home Depot and I looked at the prices of herbs, and they were $6 for one pot. $6, guys. I just told myself no. Like, I'm just not going to pay $6 because I need at least, at the bare minimum, I needed sage and thyme and some sage and thyme mainly, because parsley I had dried, and then probably some rosemary too. And you know, I wanted to be able to use these herbs for the holidays, and I was not able to do that. So most of my dried herbs went there. So instead of spending all of that money, because that would have been expensive, I went to the grocery store. And this is what I found. Black Friday special right here. This is a trio herb pot, which is really packed in here, guys. Like, these herbs are probably screaming for life right now. But we have some rosemary, we have a ton of thyme, and then we also have some sage. It's one of the potted herb blends for stuffing, and it's a great blend. And if you can find these things, they do work really well. But do remember that each one of these plants grows into a giant bush. So they probably are, their roots are probably too packed to really separate them. But what I'm going to do is plant them in a large space. So a space, because look at the roots on here, guys. Yeah, all of these roots are just mixed in and all one big root ball. So instead of splitting them apart, I'm gonna try just plopping this whole thing into the top part of my Vego garden bed and just allowing those roots to relax and kind of grow down and out in all the different places that they want to grow. And hopefully that will make it to where this thing will then grow really well. And we are going to be using a lot of these herbs over the next couple of weeks because we make a lot of meals for Hanukkah that is coming up. We have 7 days of greatness, so these herbs will be put to good use. So we'll trim them down, and then maybe eventually I can break them apart once they have really settled in. I can divide them up in the bed later on. But for right now, this is going to at least save me a bunch of money. Best part, guys, is that there was a Black Friday kind of special at Sprouts. So this was 2 for $10. Like, you can get 2 of these for $10. So this one only cost me $5. That is 5 different herbs for just $5. That is a deal. Now, the next thing I did is I went to Sprouts and Trader Joe's. And Trader Joe's has these little potted plants. These ones are grown indoors and they're just grown for you to be able to use. But did you guys know that since these things are in a pot, they're in some, I think it's like peat moss or something like that, or coco coir? Nope, just dirt. They're in dirt, and you can just take this and pot it right in wherever you want to put it in. And this is already ready to go. It's ready to start using, and I'm going to be able to use this and let it continue to grow. I got some more thyme because thyme is really important to us right now, both physically and cooking wise. And then I also got some mint because we eat a lot of lamb during the winter. So I want to make sure that we have enough mint to be able to cook the lamb. So I do have some other mints in my garden, but I like to have more than one plant because we also like mojitos during the winter, because soon my lime tree will probably be doing something. If not, we still have a ton of limes in the freezer from last year. So those are going to be just 2 things that I'm going to be able to pot up that I got from the grocery store. Now, the next unfortunate thing, guys, is my onion bed. My green onions were doing quite well, and they were growing nicely. And we had moved this and put it in a protective space, but unfortunately, they used this pot to house their ladder once it was down. So they basically pulled the ladder down and put it on top of this, which then crushed all of the onions. I don't know if these onions are going to be able to survive because they had left the ladder on there for a day and a half because I didn't paint one day to let things dry. So I'm not sure. So this is what I'm gonna do. So once again, we are problem solvers over here at Team Benson's Desert Garden. And I had went to the nursery to check and see if maybe there were some green onions at a better price. And they had a little pot of green onions. There was maybe like 3 in each little pot. And that little pot was $7. It was absolutely ridiculous. So instead, I just went to the grocery store and bought some organic green onions. You want to make sure you get organic ones. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these right here, like pretty much like right about there. And then I'm going to stick these in some water. Let them rehydrate, let the roots grow a little bit, and then I'm just going to take these, put them right in the dirt. Actually, instead of sticking them in the water, I'm probably just going to put them right in the dirt. so that is going to be that problem solved. It'll at least give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green onions, which is plenty of green onions for us to be able to use these fresh and, more importantly, make onion salt. So guys, when life gives you lemons, you just make lemonade. We'll try and say that. But there are going to be some issues and problems that pop up in your garden. If you get stressed out about it, then you won't be able to find solutions for it. So my big solution is just to be able to problem solve as they come along. So I know it's Sunday. I know I should be doing a garden tour for you guys, but I'm still getting my garden back together. We had the most fabulous anniversary adventure. We went to a ton of different places. Thank you all so much for wishing us happy anniversary. Thank you guys so much for the cups of coffee. That was like very nice of you guys. I really appreciate that. And I hope you guys all liked your e-card because since you guys had the email addresses, I was able to send e-cards. So you guys got to see a little bit of our adventure. But I really just want to say thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for all that went on extra of my videos and commented on them for our anniversary present. I really, really appreciate that. We are trying so hard to grow the channel and let people know that you can grow amazing gardens in the desert. Also, for all of you guys that were in our seed swap, all of the seeds are going out on Monday. They are all packaged up and ready to go out. We didn't make it back in time for Saturday to get to the post office, so now we are just gonna have to send them out on Monday. So apologize for the delay, but they are all going out first thing Monday morning. And until next time, guys, grow yourselves a garden because even a small space can provide you with tons of food. Bye guys.